Hey guys, how's it going? Tong here. Today I have another roundup of gadgets for you guys to see and look at. I'm going to start off with the Sharp Electronic Organizer. This is also known as the MemoMaster. The model YO-180P is what I believe to be called. Yep, so this is basically what it looks like. I want to show you guys this. This is not really, well, it's a computer, but it's not really the same as a phone or a smartphone or most of the other gadgets that I looked at before. The reason I want to show you guys, oh here it is, the model YO-180, 256 kilobytes of memory. And yeah, the reason I want to show you guys this one is because this is pretty much the first electronic device I had, besides a calculator of course. It's the first device that's more than just a calculator that I have. I think you can think of it kind of as a PDA. It's not really the same as a Pocket PC or a Palm device. It's not the same as one of those, but it is essentially a PDA. It has all these PIM functions that can, these are PIM functions like the calendar. So you can see the calendar here, time. You can put your events on here on the calendar, which is pretty cool. Schedule your stuff. You have a to-do app. Now these days you would do this with your iPhone or your smartphone, but to-do app I guess is right here. Telephone book, that's your contact lists. Then you have your email, email mode, and it's a URL. I think this is just to keep track of emails. It doesn't do email. I mean, this does not connect to the internet. I want to make sure that clear. It has no Wi-Fi. There's no way to connect to the internet. It just stores that stuff. Stores the emails of people. I don't know why it's different than, I think it's different than the contact list. Okay, you can store URLs on here. So back in the day, I used to store different websites and stuff that I really liked. Remember, this was back in the day in the late 90s or early 2000s when we didn't have smartphones and maybe we didn't own a Palm Pilot or a Pocket PC at that time. You want to store all the stuff. This is very, very simple to do that. And you would keep track of the URLs and stuff on this list so you remember which sites to go to. This is before browsers had really good favorites or bookmarks feature. So this is actually kind of useful. Back then, Memo, this is kind of like just a notes kind of app. You can just put anything on here. Reviews. The Sharp. Oh, let me go back. Oh. Okay. The Sharp. Oh, here's the backspace. It's called BS. The BS button is the backspace. It's been a while since I used this, guys. This was my first basically electronic device that's more than just a calculator. I received this back in high school. Before I had a cell phone, so this was before that. Before I had my Cyberco, before I had my, wait, was this before? No, this was, oh, this wasn't in my high school, sorry. This was in elementary school, in my primary school, that's right. I had my Casio B300, which I've shown you guys before, the little small pocket PC device. I had that in high school. And then I had the Cyberco before that, the Cyberco like gaming handheld device, and I had this in elementary school. This was my very first electronic device that started my love of gadgets, basically. I remember this was like 80 bucks or something when it came out. It's pretty expensive. All right, that's the notes. Did I save that or not? What happens? Oh, stored. Okay. Now it's stored. Okay. Anyways, now we come back to it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there we go. I can look at the ones I stored before. Alright. The expense one is like kind of like an accounting app, maybe. I haven't really used that. I remember I was back in elementary school. I wasn't doing expenses back then. This is the world clock, I believe. So you can, yeah, it's New York right now, time. You can also see London time. I think you can change this as well to other time zones, but yep, it's a clock, world clock function. And of course you got the calculator. So yeah, works fine. Yeah, that's the Sharp MemoMaster YO-180P, and Yeah, we can even, there's some menu, you can edit something, like go to this one. Whoops, let's edit that. Yeah, I remember how to do this now. Okay, there we go. Now it's saved. Come back to it. There we go. So yeah, that's and it has a backlight as well, in case you need to see in the dark. It's right there. So that's a Sharp MemoMaster YO-180, my very first electronic device. Basically a PDA, essentially. That's that. I forget when this came out. Maybe it's like late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around that time. All right, the next up I have, this is the Motorola Q11. So if you guys remember, I have this because I want to show you guys what the phones looked like before touchscreen phones came out. So this was basically how all the smartphones were like at the time. We had the Palm Trio, you had the Motorola Q, the Samsung Blackjack, all these, and the Blackberries, of course. You had all these phones with like the QWERTY keyboards in the smile kind of shape. Very, very small, but they also double as numpads. Yeah, you can also use them to call someone. This model in particular came out in 2008, I believe, but it has existed since 2006, I think, or 2005 maybe. Yeah, around that time. Okay, what do you have here? You have a headphone port, very, very flimsy cover, by the way. But headphone port, something you don't get with the iPhone these days. Micro SD charger, micro USB charger right here, very nice. I believe back then most of the devices were using mini USBs, but now this one's a full micro. You have your call and you hang up. I think the Nokia E71 has this as well. This layout's very, very popular in the pre-iPhone days. Very, very popular layout. It's small, like 2.4-inch screen. I think it's like 320 by 320, some resolution like that. Volume buttons. And then I think the SIM card slot would be somewhere in here. Yep, that's where you store your SIM card. Removable battery, always nice to have. You don't get removable batteries that often these days. And okay, this is a 3 megapixel camera with an 8-time digital zoom. 3 megapixels is pretty standard fare for 2008. A lot of smartphones and phones back then, if you remember. This runs Windows Mobile, by the way. Windows Mobile 6.1. So yeah, that's the Motorola Q. I'll show you guys that. Secondly, I have the LG Prada 2. Okay, you can shut up now. Alright. Is this the touchscreen? No, I keep forgetting. This is before touchscreens. Why do I keep doing touchscreens? Oh, this is what Windows Mobile 6.1 looks like, guys, by the way. Okay. But you guys have already seen this. I've shown this to you guys with the compact or HPI pack as well. Alright, so I have the LG Prada 2. Some people may not know, but the LG Prada was the very first phone that had the touchscreen, the full-size touchscreen, but it wasn't very well implemented. It's not like the iPhone multi-touch or whatever, so people basically forgot about that once the iPhone came out. That was back in 2006. This model, the LG Prada 2, was released in 2008. And yeah, it has the same touchscreen. It has the hang-up, call buttons, and menu button, and front-facing webcam. That's how you know we're in the modern age now. There was no selfies before the iPhone came out. Did you know that? Alright. And it has a slide-up QWERTY keyboard when you need it. Always nice to have, you know. So if the touchscreen wasn't very good back in the day, the recognition, autocorrect and stuff, everything wasn't very good back in the day. So most phones back in the day, 2007 to 2010-ish, had a slide-out QWERTY keyboard in addition to the touchscreen, so that you can type better. And I still like physical keyboards. I really like the tactile feel of it. And they don't really make them much anymore. Even the Blackberries have switched to using Android and touchscreens and stuff. Alright, so it's not the same anymore. Alright, I have a 5 megapixel camera back here, which is pretty nice. That's pretty good for back in the day, considering that the Motorola Q only had a 3 megapixel camera. We have a self-portrait mirror, flash. This is a Schneider-Kreuznach lens, which means that this famous optics company collaborated with LG on this, but I doubt it really makes a difference. Just like we saw in the BlackBerry Priv, had the same Schneider-Kreuznach tuning, didn't really matter that much. And removable battery, always nice. We have our SIM card slot and headphone jack, dual up here. Yep, I think both of. Oh, sorry, I'm mistaking that for a SIM card slot. This is actually just the charging port and the headphone port. So this does not take 3.5 millimeter. You have to use the proprietary kind of connector for this. And on the sides here we have, this is a dedicated camera button. Yep. We have, I think this is kind of some kind of menu button right here. A lock button. Maybe this is a screen orientation lock. We have the micro SD card slot here. That's where it is. And we have the volume buttons on this side. Yeah, no 3.5 millimeter, has its own proprietary connection. So yeah, that is the LG Prada 2. The original LG Prada was the first touchscreen, full touchscreen smartphone to come out. Got forgotten when the iPhone came out. Then this one has the addition of the QWERTY keyboard in addition to the touchscreen. Finally, I have, actually not finally, I have the next Android device I want to show you is the T-Mobile G1, or also known as the HTC Dream. This is a very important phone because it's the very first Android phone that ever came out in the US market. This came out in 2008, and just like these phones, but remember, these phones weren't running Android. This Windows Mobile is running its own operating system. This one is running Android. This very first Android phone that came out, it was running 1.5, I think, 1.6, 1.5. Now, yeah, it was Android was not very good back then. You have to remember that Android took several years to catch up to iOS. It didn't really catch up until like around 2011, 2012ish. But now a lot of people use Android. Android's a really good operating system. But back in the day, this was not a very mature OS. So Android 1.5 or 1.6 is not very good. Don't expect it to be very good. But anyways, yeah, we have this unique lip. I think this is a little kind of like chin here with call, hang up buttons. You have physical buttons here. You have some kind of optical scroll wheel here like you do in the Blackberries, BlackBerry Curve back in the day. Home button, go back. This one, this unique QWERTY keyboard actually goes up to your side. You see that? It swings out. That's really cool, right? It swings up like that, and you have your QWERTY keyboard. It's a really cool mechanism. So you have a phone that has kind of like a swing display, full QWERTY keyboard as well as a touchscreen, I believe. So it's a touchscreen. Then you have it doesn't show the megapixels. You have just a simple megapixel on the back. Google branded, but we know it's made by HTC. Speakers. We have a dedicated camera button there. Is this a mini USB? Looks like mini USB charging port right there. And volume buttons. So yeah, that's the HTC Dream, or the T-Mobile G1, the very first Android phone. And next I have another device from around 2008, 2009-ish. This is the Creative VadoHD. Now this is not really, it's not a phone. It's not technically, it's not a computer in any sense of the word. It's a camera. But the reason I want to show you guys this is because this was back in the day when smartphones didn't have very good cameras. So they had to buy separate devices to use for recording. Like for, if you want a pocket camcorder, you couldn't just take out your little Motorola Razr or whatever, or this, tiny 3.2 megapixel camera and do some recording, because it often really sucked. So back in the day we had pocket camcorders like the Flip Video. We had the Flip Video Mino, and Creative, which is one of my favorite companies, came out with a competitor called the VadoHD. And this is a pocket camcorder that records in HD, I believe 720p resolution. So it's not full HD, but that was very good for back in the day. I think this is a, okay, this tells you the specs. It's a f2.3. It's f2.3. Not bad for back in the day. 720p was really good for back in the day. If you remember, the smartphones mostly recorded in VGA resolution back in the day. So, and your like basically feature phones, flip phones, whatever, they recorded just VGA resolution. So to be able to get a pocket camcorder like this, records in 720p, is pretty awesome. This is the on button. I can start it up. VadoHD. And yeah, we have another camera inside a camera here. Right, so yeah, we have the VadoHD here. It records in 720p, HD+. Yeah, record button, standing right here, and the left-right buttons, backward, forward. Delay button right here, speaker, play, pause. It's very, very simple to operate. All you have to do is press this and start shooting. I think this comes with like 4 gigs of memory, standard, 4 or 8 gigs or something like that, but you can expand it. We have a AV out here, which can be connected to a composite connection, I think. And then we have, is this HDMI? Yeah, maybe we have an HDMI in here. That's pretty awesome. Okay, we do have HDMI. See that? That is HDMI right here on the small thing. On the small guy right here. Nice. Tripod mount right here. It's cool. And we have a swing out USB connector to connect with your computer. I thought this had a micro SD slot, but I was wrong. Okay, maybe it does have whatever comes with 4 gigs or 8 gigs of flash. And then you just connect it to a computer to transfer the files over using some kind of software. So that's a Creative VadoHD, guys. Pocket camcorder back in the day. This is obviously obsolete now. You don't need this, but I just want to have it for my collection because I want to remember the days when you had to carry around a separate device to do video recording. Alright, finally I have the PSP Go, which came out in 2009. This is the redesign of the PSP that's digital only. It doesn't accept any UMD discs. Comes out like that. You see the keyboard here, the buttons right here. Yep, it's very similar to what we have on the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play. You can see how similar these two devices are. Now I have to do a comparison video someday to show you guys which one I think is actually better at emulating games, because both of them can emulate. I'm not sure though. I'll have to do a comparison sometime. But yeah, this is pretty much very, very similar, except the difference is here you have replaced by an analog stick, select and start. This is a phone though. The Xperia Play is actually a phone that runs Android. The PSP, of course, is just a gaming console, handheld gaming console. You have a D-pad, analog stick, select and start, triangle, square, your regular PS buttons right there. PSP, this is the turn on-off button. Stereo speakers, and we have left, right buttons right here. Volume, plus, minus. I think this might be rotation lock or something like that, though I don't remember this actually rotates. Okay, and the music button right here. A music button, Maybe this has a proprietary, oh, come on, focus. Okay, maybe this goes to like a proprietary kind of music app or something. Music button, I don't remember seeing that before. Alright, down the bottom here we have the charger slot, the charger and the headphone jack. So that's it, the Sony PSP Go. You can only use digital games with this. Oh, here's the power button. Yeah, this is not the power button, sorry guys. This is the power button, and this is the PlayStation button. And then on here we have memory card slot, the wireless switch. Yep. And yeah, this is only for digital games. It's kind of ahead of its time actually, in the fact that it kind of predicted that digital games would be the future. And right now, digital games kind of are the future. At least not that much for consoles, but at least for PCs, for sure. Not that many PCs are sold physically anymore. So yeah, in these days I do download a lot of things on my Vita and Nintendo 3DS digitally. So I think this is kind of ahead of its time in that aspect. Made a smaller console, lighter, more portable, without the physical media slot. But a lot of people didn't like it because physical media was very popular back then. And this was digital only, but anyways, I thought it was ahead of its time. PSP Go with next Xperia Play, and I have the LG Prada 2, Motorola Q11, HTC Dream, Creative VadoHD, and this sharp organizer. So that's it for now, and as always, thanks guys for watching. I'll have more reviews up for you the next time we meet.